Hi, James Melendez, James the wine guy, James the white IPA guy. What? White IPA? Yes, there is such a thing. And, it's very interesting because I found this when I was in Oregon last month, February 2013. I was at Deschuttes Brewery and the brew pub in Portland, and I did a tasting, and here's the sampler platter that I did. And you'll see here that there's my first white IPA that I ever tasted. And it was a very fun thing to experience because some classic ales here, so the Mirror Pond and the Nitro, and going through and tasting some really definitively gorgeous ales. And when I was doing that, I kept noticing that I thought, when I first tasted this, I thought, that's good, not bad. And didn't strike me until I was halfway through. I was eating food and tasting everything together. Of course, everything's excellent. But I kept coming back to this one, and I thought this is a really remarkably different, a wondrous white IPA, knowing that there's a second in the marketplace. And I think it's really a definitively gorgeous way of honing in on what a white IPA is. And I think that's a whole category of beer. When you think of beer, it's such a complex product itself. And here's a great map and diagrammatic of understanding relationships to beer, ale, etc., lager, and to going back and forth and getting those relationships. So this particular diagrammatic I found on Crate and Barrel, and I thought it was a really smart diagram, although I do believe it's much more complex than this. The reason is white IPA is not mentioned here, black IPA is not mentioned, and did some research online and looked to a lot of beer writers, and one writer mentioned, he was mentioning this white IPA, as well as the other, which is by the producer Saronic. And he was saying he's not entering the argument of what is or isn't an IPA, but he did mention that there's a bit of controversy when it comes to white or black or even non-hop IPA. And that's a very interesting thing. So I believe in white IPA. Okay, so I'm just going to start off there. And I think maybe hops is the definition. And while I was at a really wonderful beer bar here called Monk's Kettle, I asked the very knowledgeable staff, I said, "What do you have a white IPA?" And the response I got back was, "Well, I don't think they really exist." And I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, I know of this particular bottling." And he says, "Well, it's probably a wheat beer." And that's all he said. And I think that's a really interesting thing. So the beer interested community is, really weighing in and trying to understand what an IPA is and is not. But for me, I think this might hit that definition. So I'm not going to really fight it. I'm just going to enjoy it because I think it's an absolutely gorgeous product. Now, for me, this is a great way to getting a flavor profile of what you might taste this with. So the Dungeness Crab that I had with this was excellent. It was a fantastic pairing that one complemented the other quite well. So here we go. Take a taste and tell you what this white IPA is like. You can definitely get that handshake of the hops. You definitely feel a sense of delicateness, nuance, quality, convincing flavor characteristics, more complex than any wheat beer that I've experienced. It's an exciting quality and match of notes of, a better way of saying, butterscotch, orange peel, cardamom, pear, and brioche. I give us a 9.4 out of a 10.0 scale. For more wine and IPA and other beer reviews, please go to jamesthewineguy.com. Subscribe to my videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter for mail, Google+, Pinterest. Salut.